This segment of the Alice Stewart Show is brought to you by the Countertop Store, Central Arkansas's premier countertop authority. For custom fabrication and installation of granite, tile, laminate, copper, and more. The Countertop Store, 888-510-4773.
And we're back, 7:20. And we're moving full speed ahead to the midterm elections. Just over 80 days until midterms, where we have a big slate of candidates in the Senate races, congressional races, governor, lieutenant governor, all the way down the tickets. And candidates are moving full speed ahead. This is the time you're going to see a lot of gripping and grinning, pressing the flesh, really retail politicking. And Laurie Lee joins us in studio. Laurie, great to have you here.
Thank you.
And we're going to see a lot of ads on TV. We're going to see a lot of mail drops in the mail, but certainly retail politics is key in Arkansas. And one man doing just that, as he's on his break from Washington, D.C., Congressman Tim Griffin. He joins us this morning. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad you could join us. You are embarking on what I think is really important to get out and press the flesh and talk with the folks. You're starting an effort to visit all 75 counties. It's called Every County Counts, My Plan to Grow Jobs Now and Help Arkansas Compete. What's the focus of this tour?
Yeah, I mean, anybody who has grown up in a relatively rural county knows sometimes you feel like there's like 2 or 3 counties that get all the attention. So I think it's important, first and foremost, to make an effort to go to all the counties and really run a 75 county campaign. It takes a lot of time on the road, obviously, and it's a lot to juggle, but it's going great. I'm not sure exactly how many counties we're up to, but I just juggle being in the district and my other duties as a father and husband and all that with getting on the road when I can. But we are committed to doing it, to trying to get to all 75 counties by sometime in September. But I'm talking almost exclusively about jobs. And what I like to say to folks is shouldn't be surprising when a politician says they're for jobs, right? In fact, I thought about that comment. It's not surprising when every human being that you meet is for jobs. So it's just like saying, hey, I'm for air, I'm for water, I'm for food.
That's kind of a no-brainer for a politician.
And I'm for jobs, right. So the question when someone says I'm for jobs, or I'm going to do this for jobs, the question isn't, are they for jobs? Everybody's for jobs. The question is, what specific things, policies, reforms, ideas do you have that you think will actually help us compete?
Well, and I think that's the key. Your opponent, John Burkhalter, is a businessman. He also has put out a jobs plan. It includes strengthening public education, workforce training, cutting taxes for working families, small businesses, manufacturers, cutting red tape to reduce government regulations. What is it about your jobs plan that how does it compare with your opponents, and how will this help create jobs?
Sure. Well, sounds like he's been reading my jobs plan. But in any event, I think that here's the key: there's so much emphasis put on incentives to incentivize companies to come to the state, and I am totally for that. I understand that we have to do that to compete with other states. But if that is your primary focus, then you're never going to get to where you need to be jobs-wise. And why is that? Because most jobs are created by small and mid-sized companies. And small and mid-sized companies are never going to get that incentive phone call. They're never going to get that incentive package, right?
Right.
And so you have to back up a little bit and say, okay, yeah, we need to do that. We need to continue to incentivize folks to come here. But if that's only focused on the bigger companies, and most jobs are created by small to mid-size, then we got to have a lot more than that. Go ahead.
You mentioned bold tax reform to help us lower the tax burden. What specifically?
Let me. So when if you say, okay, we need more than just what I call sweetener or incentives, we need permanent policy changes. See, we're always talking about we just got to get them here. We just got to get them here. If you change the policies and laws of the state of Arkansas, you will get a lot of that job creation without having to entice with extra incentives the jobs to come here. And you know what else you'll do that the incentive stuff doesn't do? You will actually grow jobs with the businesses that are already here. See, that's the thing with the incentive deal, is it's so focused on getting new big companies here. And again, there's a role for that.
I want to ask you this. In the past, the Lieutenant Governor's office, which is vital, it's a part-time job, rather ceremonial. You preside over the Senate. You step in when the governor's out. But it's interesting to see this time you and your opponent are both really stepping in with an actual agenda to help create jobs and help Arkansas compete. Why is it that you're actually working to really expand the role and focus of that office?
Well, I think my opponent is mostly just sort of piggybacking off of Ross and what he's doing. I haven't seen anything different. But a couple things. First of all, if you look historically, there actually is a history of lieutenant governors running in a campaign on a particular policy or policies and then pursuing them when they got into office. And that's not new. I mean, look at Halter. Halter talked about the lottery. He went around the state. Lottery.
Right.
Then he got in office. He pursued the lottery. And last time I checked, and I'm not a fan of it, but last time I checked, we got the lottery, right? So that's not a new idea, the idea that the lieutenant governor, even though on paper may not be able to have the any specific powers that can get the lottery enacted, he used the pulpit and the podium and the microphone. The last lieutenant governor, he talked about online checkbook. And last time I checked, we've got online checkbook. So this is not a new thing. It's pretty common for lieutenant governors to pick, or lieutenant gubernatorial candidates to pick something that they want to pursue. The problem with some folks saying that they want to do A, B, and C is, with all due respect, they're in a party that probably won't let them do A, B, and C. And I mean, if you're in the Democratic Party and you're saying, yeah, hey, I want to change some permanent laws here because I want to attract more people. Well, if you're talking education reform, you better talk to the unions because they're probably not going to like that too much.
Absolutely, no doubt.
If you're talking tort reform, you better talk to the folks in your party because that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
If you're talking about a top-to-bottom view of state government, which I am, every single agency ought to look at what it does well, what it does poorly, what its mission is, how it can innovate. That's not going to happen with some of the what some folks I've heard called prison guards of the past versus pioneers of the future. Prison guards of the past are the ones that say, this is the way it's always been. We want to keep it this way.
All right, we got to wrap it up there.
And that's why state government hasn't hasn't changed over the
All right,
years.
we got to wrap it up there, Congressman. Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Congressman Tim Griffin will be back right after this on The Alice Stewart Show. This segment of The Alice Stewart Show brought to you by the Countertop Store, 9817 Maumelle Boulevard. Give them a call, 888-510-4773. Talk to one of their design consultants and let them show you how your dreams can come true.